This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
The officers and the structure of each commission. So this is the third commission I've been at. I have three orders of business here this evening. The first is to elect a chairman of the board. The second order of business is to elect a vice chair. And then the third order of business is to elect a secretary. Before we get into that, I'd like to say that David Mons has resigned from the commission. And I'd like to, on behalf of the town of North Haven and this commission, thank David for his years of service as a member of this police commission. So with that being said, we'll start with the first order of business. I'd like to entertain a motion for a chairman for our police commission.
I'll make the motion and nominate Larry Lazaroff to be the chairman of the police commission.
We have a motion for Mr. Calafiore. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second, Mrs. Wilson. Are there any other nominations? Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Larry, thanks for your service as our incoming chairman. Now, the second order of business, again, is to have elected a vice chair. So is there a nomination for the vice chair of this commission?
I'd like to nominate Robin Wilson as vice chair.
We have a nomination.
I'll second that.
Mr. Calafiore is seconding the nomination. Is there any other discussion, or is there any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll call for that vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Robin, thank you for your service on this commission, and now as the incoming chair, vice chair. And the third and final order of business is to have a secretary elected for this commission. So I'd like to accept the nomination for that.
I'd like to nominate Mark Calafiore as secretary for the Board of Commissioners.
All right.
I'll second that.
And a nomination from Mrs. Wilson, and a second from Mr. Reed for Mr. Calafiore. Is there any other discussion? Or are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll call for that vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies. That concludes my business here this evening. And have a good evening, have a good commission meeting, and I'll see everybody soon.
Thank you.
Very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, carrying on. I want to thank Mr. Frieda for taking the organizational meeting and making all these roles effective. My name is Larry Lazaroff. I'm the chairman of the Board of Police Commissioners. To my left is Vice Chairman Robin Wilson. To my right is Commissioner or Secretary now, Mark Calafiore, and Commissioner Alden Mead to his right. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 2019 meeting, both regular and executive session?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the monthly reports for November of 2019.
So moved.
Second.
In discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Robin, any correspondences? I'm sorry, Mark. Actually, Robin, you want to just do this one since you have the information? Or do you want to pass over to Mark?
No, I want you to do it. I didn't
Okay.
get a chance to look at it.
Okay.
Next time.
The only correspondence we have are a number of handwritten thank yous from the children at North Haven Middle School, thanking the officers for their presentation.
Excellent. Okay, for the chairman's report, I just want to also thank former Chairman David Mons for his service to the community, the Board of Police Commissioners, and for the town of North Haven. I want to congratulate Robin and Mark on their new positions as well. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year. So I'll leave my report until next month. Once I get rolling here, I'll turn it over to the chief for chief's report.
Okay, just real quick, on behalf of all of our officers, our men and women of the police department, we would like to extend obviously a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to all of our residents, as well as a happy and healthy New Year. As we mentioned last month about our holiday shopping. There's still a little bit of time left, so anybody that is, the season's coming to a close there, but, still you want we want you to lock your cars, obviously. Take your keys with you. Don't leave your pocketbooks or any type of gifts in plain view. We want you to park in well-lit areas. And if you see something that doesn't look just quite right, something that's suspicious, then please give us a call. Same thing for any packages that are coming to your home. It's occurred not only in our town in the past, but also in surrounding towns this year. Take your packages, if they're coming in, have somebody there to take them in for you so they don't get stolen. Again, if you see anything that doesn't look quite right with people hanging around the neighborhood, give us a call. Just to echo the chair's comments and the first selectman's comments on the former chair, Dave Mons, that has resigned. I'd like to thank him for his 19 years. It was a lot of time that he put in. Always a man of reason, somebody that I would say, if people on the outside that didn't know him, I would say he'd be apolitical when he came to, being in the middle and doing what was always right for us and the police department in the town. So we wish him the best. As far as, just for our viewing audience, as well as for the commission, effective on January 1, there will be a new statewide model policy for pursuits, for police pursuits. This isn't something that we crafted. This is something that is being pushed throughout the whole state. And essentially, police statewide will not be allowed to pursue and engage in police pursuits of vehicles unless the suspect vehicle and the suspects have committed a known felony and the felony involved violence. Right? So if your vehicle that's unlocked is stolen, we're not going to be able to chase it. All right? Property crimes are basically going to be taboo for pursuits. So the best thing that we can tell our residents is to take care, properly lock up your property. I know it's North Haven, but when you leave things out, you leave things unattended, there are people that are going to steal from you. So that's just so everybody knows.
Can I ask one question? I'm just curious. So I understand the policy about property, but if, when you say if they've committed a known felony, would that be that you'd have to have a warrant for them or just probable cause to think they committed a felony?
Well, you're going to have the probable cause to know that they
that's
committed
sufficient. I would guess so, but
So my take on this would be even if somebody went in and robbed a bank and slid a note,
that's exactly.
okay? Now they drive off at 100 miles an hour. There's no violence. Okay?
Yeah,
So
but felony,
the state of Connecticut is becoming much like the state of California.
I see.
We're the East Coast California, except we're only a
So
little
you wouldn't be able
pimple.
to pursue that perpetrator? Wow.
That's the way it's gonna roll.
Did you say a felony or a violent felony?
It's gonna have to be a felony, and it's gonna have to be a felony that involves violence.
Right, so a stolen car
Is not going to be,
it is a felony, but
Right.
it's not,
Right.
doesn't rise to the level of
Right.
of violence.
unless, of course, when you were going there to investigate it, they rammed you or something like that.
What if they crash into another car?
Well, if they have an accident, that's one thing, but I mean, if it's purposeful and they're looking to create an injury, there's gonna be some officer's discretion on that end. And then what we'll have to do is we're gonna have to see how, in the end, it shakes out, quite frankly, but that's the way we're going. As far as our budget, we continue to stay within our expectations, our self-imposed allowances that we have. We're probably about 1.7% under right now, which is okay. We always like to leave a little bit of a buffer at this point of the year. We're almost at the halfway point. So we want to be in in good financial standing when we get to April and May, just to make sure that we stay there. Regarding budgets, our fuel line may take a little bit of a hit in the upcoming months. This is because the fuel tanks down at the highway garage, they were scheduled to be removed sometime this spring. And prior to them being removed, the state DEEP comes in, and what they do is they test the tanks and they test the fuel lines and the dispenser, the pump, to make sure that everything is working properly, make sure there's no leaks. The tanks, from what I'm told, were in good shape. The fuel lines had some corrosion inside of them. Not that doesn't make them defective at this point, but because it's been determined that there is some corrosion in there, it could leak. So the state is not going to allow the town to put fuel in that tank to dispense fuel at the highway garage. So what we have right now is we have a system set up with the North Haven Exxon up on Washington Avenue. So we'll be fueling not only our police vehicles, but all the other department and town-owned vehicles at the Exxon station. So you're gonna pay a little bit more at the pump than you would normally at the highway garage.
But there is no leak, though.
There's no leak.
Okay.
But I guess because of what they determine as there's enough corrosion in the line itself that it could potentially leak.
So are they gonna be remedied? Is that what they're gonna do to it?
Yeah, and what happened was the town went out and the town got a price to see what it would cost to repair that line. And in the end, it was just gonna be too cost prohibitive because if they spend $30,000, whatever it might have been, to put the new line in April, you're gonna go rip that new line in the tanks out anyway. So the new tanks are gonna be above ground, from what I'm told. There'll be a new line and a new pump down there. So the town really didn't want to spend that money to just dig it up in 3.5 months.
Right.
You know, which kind of makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah. So it's gonna, in the end, it'll probably be a wash, but you might just see some of our gas line go up a little bit. And again, continuing on the budgetary items, I know per the discussion and request that we had, I think back in October, about the camera system in here, we did take a look at that, and the quote that we received, now granted, this is just one person, but we wanted to get a baseline of what we're looking at. You're looking at like $37,000.
Which is a lot less than what I found.
Yeah. $37,000 is still a lot of money to use it once a month, I think. But we don't have a revenue line for that. But, you know, that's certainly open for discussion for you folks.
Yeah. I had talked to Walter Mann back when, and he was talking much higher numbers. My son does this for a living, but he's not around here. And he said, you know, it should be 40, 50.
Right.
But Walter said that they got grants for all of the other two that they have in town.
Right.
So maybe with the new budget, we can see what might be available.
Well, our budget's already been submitted for next year.
But with the town,
Yeah, well, we can always ask them,
yeah.
you know? I mean, you have more juice than I do when it comes to that. When, you know, looking for somebody to, you know, push a couple coins this way. So you can certainly ask them.
Okay. 37 is not bad. Is that all new equipment?
Yeah, and that would be two cameras from what I'm told. There'd be like one on that wall and then one in the back, you know.
That included all the hookups and
Yep.
networking?
So, and it could possibly have been, we may have been given a good price because those are the folks that just did our building and they're familiar with all of the wiring and stuff. So that could be.
All right, great.
That's-
Thank you for checking into that.
And then, what?
I was going to just back up for a minute.
Sure.
When you were talking about the thefts and watching out for it. And I just wanted to commend the department on the latest incident that happened last week with.
Oh, I was going to talk to that in just a
Well,
moment. Yep.
You can. I
Okay.
just want to commend the department
Sure.
on it. Great job.
Okay. All right, so as far as the budget for next year, again, that's been submitted to the first selectman for his review. That normally goes over the first week of December. They'll look at it, they'll slice and dice it, and then get back to us to find out, if there's anything that we can do with or without. And then our workshop is scheduled for the 19th of February, and that's at 8:30. I think that's usually a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, and we normally go on, I think, last. Yeah. As far as the Benary Scholarship Awards, I have no requests for assistance or consideration for this month. As far as the uniform services and ISU, put them together. As far as the major crimes, we continue to see a decline for this current year. This past month, we had one residential burglary down in the Montauk section. It was daytime entry. Somebody cut the screen to get entry into a porch, and then they had access to the house. Two commercial burglaries at the same time. One via the window that was popped open at Popeyes over here on Washington Avenue, and the other is, I would put it in the sketchy category. It was a locked rental unit at a storage facility. So somebody that was able to gain access into that facility is ultimately going to be responsible for that. No robberies this month, and thankfully, no overdoses. The incident that you just mentioned real quick, we did have an incident at Best Western last week. Initially, it was reported as a robbery, and it was supposed to be a robbery with a firearm. It was later determined to be I guess I would call it a payment dispute between a sex worker and her client. A short pursuit ensued on the interstate. We got on at 12. We broke it off at 10. And the vehicle continued at a high rate of speed and left the highway at exit 9, rolled over. 2 people fled. We were able to deploy the dog, our shepherd. He tracked. We had it sealed off pretty quick and pretty tight. The officers did a nice job in doing that. The dog came in. They were 2 individuals that were subsequently located at Target. So yeah, it was. I would agree with you. It was a job well done. We did have an uptick with our car entries and our stolen vehicles. Past couple months, we were kind of beating our chests to say that they were down. We knew that eventually they would come back around, and they did. There were 30 entries in the 1 month. Half of them were done in 2 days, 2 nights.
Unlocked.
They were all unlocked. Keys are in the car. And we just have to get that message out. Lock everything up. Yes, it's North Haven. It's a great town. It's a great community. We have interstate access at exit 9, exit 10, exit 11, exit 12, as well as the Parkway. There's a number of ways for folks to get in and out of town under the cover of darkness. I don't know what else to tell everybody. I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to spend $100,000 in overtime to put extra personnel out on the midnight shift. But if everybody just takes care of their own stuff, we don't leave our front doors open. We don't leave our garage doors open. You have to really help us help you. That's about the best I can tell you. At the same time, we had the massage spa up there on the 500 block of Washington Avenue. That is, at this point, it's closed due to unlicensed masseuses and other code violations. From what I was last told, they are moving out, but establishments like this they're like weeds in your lawn. You think you got rid of one and another one pops up. So I'd take a wait and see attitude on whether or not they really go. And for support services and traffic, quick update on our new cruisers. The new cruisers, the production was delayed, not just for us, but for all police cars. Ford is telling us that our cars won't be going into production until the end of January, so we probably won't get them until mid or late March.
Now, how many are we getting?
Three. The traffic's signage that was approved last month, they've all been erected. There is one new signage issue that the board may choose to act on tonight. I believe it was in the packets. This is Millbrook and Knollwood Roads, the posting of directional signs at this little traffic island that's been there for forever. This is really to regulate the proper traffic flow to go the right way around this little traffic island and to avoid head-on collisions. I think Sergeant D. Pascal kind of put it together pretty nice for you, put some photos together there. What we're looking for is some type of authorization to on the back of the stop signs, just to say, do not enter on that, so we can get the people to go the right way.
I've been there many times. It's a cut through kind of thing, and people
Right.
kind of, instead of going this way, just a little shortcut and go this way. So I would agree again that he did another fantastic job on this report as well. And I entertain a motion that we do as he recommends. Sure.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then as far as our records, professional standards, and training, Officer Carter, she'll be graduating before our next meeting. So her 22 weeks went pretty quick. It went slow in the beginning, and then she only really has, I think, 2.5 weeks left. So, we should have her around the 10th, somewhere around there, of January, whatever the end of that first week might be. And then she's going to have to go into her field training for 10 weeks more. At the same time, she's coming out, and Officer Mateo, he's completing his field training already, and he'll be available for solo patrol right after the Christmas, or between Christmas and New Year's, somewhere in that time frame. So staffing should be good for a while, absent some unexpected departures or any long-term injuries. We should be good for a while. 2 new dispatchers, they've begun their training. A third is expected to be on board again by the time we meet again in January. One of them that's with us has extensive background in dispatching, retired after 25 years from another police department. Sounds great on the radio, and from all I hear about him is that he's plug and play. He's ready to roll, and so it seems like we've caught somebody who got a break on something, And then I think the only other thing I have would be at this point for the executive session, I just have a couple of personnel issues.
Anything else? Any comments? Do we have a motion to go into executive session for discussion of personnel? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are back in regular session. Can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.